Hey guys, I thought I'd do something new for this rap battle series that I never thought I would actually do, but I thought it would just be fun just to give you what the process was while making the first wave of battles for Volume 1, and instead of making individual behind the scenes videos for each battle, I decided to just condense them all into one video because they honestly do it all just sound the same. Now I've had a lot more fun doing these battles more than I did when it came to working on Gaming All-Star rap battles, and I wanted to show you how I make these battles as my own. So I announced that this series was happening in my 2019 channel update video, and I even gave some demo samples of what I had planned, and a couple are for the second half of Volume 1, which are coming soon, so stay tuned for those. I wanted to expand the variety for my series, and I wanted them to do, I wanted to use characters that I personally want to have in battles, and I wanted to do matchups that I never really see that many people do back then. I couldn't do some of these back then, obviously, because I was just doing video game matchups. And I wanted to be unique with matchups that no one would do, or people haven't had a chance to do. Like, battles today usually revolve around franchises that have been used, like, over and over, like Five Nights at Freddy's, Undertale, pretty much anything that's hip today in pop culture. And quite honestly, if I'm gonna be real, I've seen a lot of these so much that it's all starting to blur together and that it all looks the same to me, so I wanted my battles to like be my own. I wanted to be independent. I wanted to do matchups that I wanted to do. I didn't want to pander. I didn't want to release a battle to get views or because a certain movie or game is coming out with a certain character. I'll occasionally ask for people for ideas from time to time, but I wanted these battles to be how I want them to be, so I'll be satisfied with the final product. And in the end, I was satisfied. I loved how these first 8 battles turned out, and it even went to the point where I could actually go back and watch them or re-listen to them repeatedly, which has never happened when it came to rap battles that I've done, or rarely even with anyone else's battles, let alone like 8 in a row. If you're wondering how I choose which rap battles I wanted to be in this volume or something, there's actually more to it than you might think. You see, I archive the ideas I want to do and I make separate folders for them. I then go on a beat search to see if I can find battles, or to see if I can find beats that'll fit any of the matchups. I then open up Google Docs to the ones that have the beats to them, and when they're fully written, they get placed on the spot on the series. It may sound convoluted, yes, but trust me, it's effective more than you think. And I want to like thank the people who helped me out, such as the people who provide their voices for certain characters like Righteous, Stealth, Titanium, Jacob, Garbage Gothic. Like, all you guys did amazing. And same goes for the people who watch these battles and enjoyed them. Like, it really makes me want to do these battles even more than I already did. Okay, so now that the prologue section is out of the way, let's start off with the behind the scenes of Freddy Krueger vs Scarecrow. Now this is a matchup that has been in my head for a very long time, and I wish someone could have done it, but no one actually did. And I know Righteous did this matchup, and it even got a sequel, but I believe I discovered it like after I finished writing my version. And honestly, his version is pretty decent too, and I'm not trying to like throw shade at Righteous here. So anyways, Freddy Krueger is pretty much my favorite slasher, and Scarecrow is my favorite comic book villain, so putting these two together was something that I really wanted to see in a rap battle. Scarecrow has been used a couple times in the community, such as like comic book rap battles and Righteous, as I mentioned before. And Freddy Krueger has been used plenty of times, even making his way onto NERB against Wolverine, which is one of my favorite battles, honestly. The beat was found on Audio Network. I loved how it sounded, and I thought it was perfect for Freddy vs. Scarecrow. It just sounded really epic and ominous. The writing process, believe it or not, was very fast. And I know writing a battle within a day isn't clever, but I legitimately did write the whole thing in one day because of how I love these characters so much. And I knew a lot about the character, so just like that, the first battle was written. And normally, I don't usually play both characters in a battle, and I haven't done that since, like, I first started gaming All-Star Rap Battles, but I figured, you know what, I think I should play both characters because, I don't know, I don't care. I wanted to do them both. Fuck it. Like, coincidentally, Robert Englund has played both characters, so I don't see why not. Now, I have played Freddy Krueger in the past before, and the impression doesn't hold up too much looking back at it, but it's been a couple of years, and I wanted to do Freddy again, and I've learned how to do it much better. Like, I looked up a video on how Robert Englund would do the Freddy voice, and this video was from a channel called The Filmatics, and he explained how the Freddy voice was, edited with very speed, which is what made him sound more deep. He even did a comparison of him doing the "Welcome to prime time, bitch" line in his normal voice, and then in the Freddy voice pitch.
So if I said, "Welcome to prime time, bitch," it would come out on the feature film, "Welcome to prime time, bitch."
And I then kept practicing Freddy by quoting many of his lines from his movies, and eventually I got him right, and I think my Freddy has gotten way better over the years. And I based my Scarecrow voice off also on Robert Englund's when he voiced him in Injustice 2. And when I discovered that the same man who did Freddy also played Scarecrow, I thought that was like an awesome casting, and honestly, I would be down to see Robert Englund play Scarecrow in a live-action Batman movie someday. I don't know, maybe, it would be really cool. So I tried to get the feel on how Scarecrow talked, and in Injustice 2, he has this thing on how he pronounces things with like the S sound.
Billions of species from millions of worlds, each with its own phobias and fears.
So I would stick my lower jaw like a little bit out more, so I would say things in his tone while also watching my pronunciation until I finally found how he possibly does Scarecrow. I then put on the effect he has when he's in his like fear gas form, and that's how I got the voices for Freddy and Scarecrow, and I tried to make them sound as distinct from each other as possible so it wouldn't sound like the same person, despite these characters actually being voiced by the same person. Now when it came to editing, I didn't want to go overboard. I didn't want to put, blurry zoom-ins. I didn't want the video to be mind-blowing in any ways. I just wanted to be simple, so I just made like straightforward AMV style like I've done with my music videos. I've taken clips from Nightmare on Elm Street movies, Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat 9, Arkham Knight, and in a couple of days the video was done. Now you may have noticed that I have included art at the end of the videos, and yes, they are all made by me. I wanted to incorporate my drawing abilities because I feel like I've been taking my talent for drawing for granted, so I decided I'm gonna draw art for the battles and put them at the end. And I don't think I'll do like time-lapse videos for them because I honestly don't feel like doing those anymore. Though if you want to know what I use to make these pictures, I use a program called Krita. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And I draw them through a drawing pad that I got for Christmas, and it works pretty damn good. It's a free program, so if you want to do art like I do, then go ahead and download it. Alright, that was Freddy Krueger vs Scarecrow. Now on to Black Widow vs Widowmaker. Now I thought this matchup was a cool idea. Both assassins slash agents with Widow in their name, and just so you know, I thought of this matchup way before Death Battle did it. Like, Starfrex and Titanium can vouch for me. I even have evidence. Like, you can look at the doc history. August 29th, 2018. Their video was released on March 2019. That was way before that shit, so ha! Anyways, the beat was also by Audio Network. It sounded really like something out of a spy movie, and it had this like night setting tone, so I thought it'd be perfect. The writing was also pretty quick. I looked up a couple of videos on the history of the characters to see what else I can mention, and eventually it was fully written. And the voice actresses were first timers on the channel. Kanzi M played Widowmaker and Melina Rose played Black Widow. I found them like how I do for a lot of VAs I've worked with in the past. I found their demo reels on YouTube. I reached out to Kenzie on September 21st, and she was interested. She wanted to have a look at my channel just to make sure what kind of content she was getting into, and I found this happen on a couple of occasions with VAs, and I gotta tell you, it makes me really nervous because I'm like, God, I hope they don't look at the cringy stuff. But thankfully she accepted it, so I sent her the stuff, and on October 20th, I got the vocals, and they were great. Melina took really quick when it came to recording Black Widow as well. I reached out to her around June 6th, and I told her to base it off of Scarlett Johansson's version, since that's the one I personally am used to. So I sent her stuff, and I say in like 4 days, I got the vocals, and again, she also does great. So the audio was mixed, and it was onto editing. Widowmaker footage was pretty much the Overwatch gameplay, as well as animations that include her, and Black Widow was pretty much all from the MCU movies. I could have put in some cartoon footage, but I felt that would have been a bit inconsistent. So with all that and the ending art was put in, Black Widow versus Widowmaker was done. On to Slappy vs Chucky. Now this is another matchup that I had on my mind for a long time. It was like a really great, I love this idea and I love both characters, so I just really wanted to do this one. The beat was made by Prophetessa Productions, and it had these like chimes that were like reminiscent of like dolls that would play that kind of music that would seem pretty creepy. And it also reminded me of the original Child's Play score, which had like a similar sound, so I thought it was very fitting for this battle. Plus it was a real banger to listen to. I watched all the Child's Play movies, so I had a pretty big knowledge on Chucky's character in history, and I've read a good amount of the Night of the Living Dummy Goosebumps books, and yes, it is a fact that Slappy wasn't the main antagonist in the first book. Instead, it was Mr. Wood, and Slappy was just a surprise thing at the end. Now, originally I had these guys have 2 verses each, but I felt like I wanted to get more references out. Like, I wanted to make an Annabelle joke. I wanted to get the Ade Dewey Dambala chant in there, since that's been a famous thing in every Child's Play movie. And I also wanted to make a diss towards the remake. Like, originally, when this was written before the remake came out, and the last line was, "Trust me, buddy, you'll get more shit once your reboot hits the theaters." But then the remake came out, so I had to change it to what it is now. And in case you're wondering, no, I did not like the Child's Play remake. I honestly thought it was like very tropey. Chucky did like looked ugly. The mother's character was probably one of the worst characters, and I just didn't like it overall. And I honestly hate how people have the mindset of Chucky was a corrupt AI all along, when that wasn't what he originally was. It's so dumb. So I provided the voice for Slappy, and I based it off of the voice from the Goosebumps TV series. Not to say that Jack Black's version isn't very good. I think he does fine. It's just that I grew up watching these Goosebumps episodes, and it made me love the character through that. Righteous did the voice of Chucky. I did a casting call club post for certain characters that needed to be filled, and Chucky was one of those voices that I needed. Righteous was like the only one who auditioned for Chucky, and I thought it was a good impression, so I decided to give him the part. And I got the vocals in, I'm pretty sure it was like literally an hour, and I believe it was like this battle was like the second one to be finished out of all of these. The intro of the battle was pretty long, I realized, so I wanted to put something at the beginning to fill in the emptiness of the video, so I thought it'd be cool to put in the chants that they have, which allow them to be awoken as the dolls, which were the Karu Marie spell and the Ade Dewey Dambala chant. The clips provided for Chucky were from the Child's Play movies, as well as a clip from Chucky's Insult Emporium from Halloween Horror Nights, which I recommend checking out. It's actually pretty funny. And Slappy's clips were pretty much from the Goosebumps movies and the Goosebumps TV episodes, and which were pretty much like, were 3 episodes in total, so I had enough material to work with, and just like that, Slappy vs. Chucky was done. Now on to Black Panther vs. Simba. I feel like it should be obvious on where this idea came from. When the Black Panther movie came out, over time, people have made comparisons on how similar it is to Lion King. And ironically, at least in my opinion, pretty sure I speak for a lot of people, Black Panther seemed like the better live-action Lion King than the actual live-action Lion King. So I got the beat from Cinema Beats, and they make some really great beats, and I found one that had great percussion, and it gave a really catchy African vibe. So I decided that would be the beat. I even freestyled it over it a bit, and that's where I came up with the first 4 lines for Black Panther's verse. Around this time, this was when I started to learn more about EQ and compressing, because there was like a previous mix of this battle, which I unfortunately don't have anymore because I wanted to make space on my computer. But it was around this battle that I started to improve on like audio mixing, and I'm glad I did, because the official mix that I have now is like so much better. The writing took longer than I expected. Like, I started around August 27th, and it was finished on like November 30th, but it got finished, and then it was on to recording. I provided the voice for Black Panther, and I based it off of Chadwick Boseman's voice, because it's the one I really like the most. Because honestly, I feel like other voices for Black Panther kind of felt stereotypical King voice. Plus, I like the accent like he has in the movies, which is pretty cool. I also put in the Yabambe chant from Infinity War and Endgame, because I wanted to incorporate some sort of chant in the battle, and I thought it was laid out pretty well. I wanted to shout it myself, but I just couldn't get to that pitch. Stoufrex did Simba, and he's made many appearances on my channel in the past, and I told him to go for the adult Simba throughout the whole battle because I thought it would be weird to have young Simba just transition to an older Simba through between verses. And I thought Stoff did a great job at portraying Simba. The footage for editing was pretty much the MCU movies with Panther in them, and the Lion King movies, so I edited it all together, and the video was done. Now on to Detective Chimp vs Detective Pikachu. When the first Detective Pikachu movie trailer dropped, it was blowing up, and people were hyped, including myself, and I actually really liked the movie. Definitely a rare for a video game movie being actually good. I then remembered another animal detective from DC Comics named Detective Chimp, and then I thought, Detective Chimp vs Detective Pikachu. That's hilarious. And there the matchup was, and I know, the first DC superhero I use out of all things is fucking Detective Chimp. It could have been Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman, but nah, I like the phony monkey. This was the first battle that I think no one saw coming, because Detective Chimp is a really obscure character that's rarely talked about. And people were guessing on what it was on Black Panther vs. Simba, and not one got it right. But I will say that there was one suggestion that he thought it was, and while it was wrong, I thought it was also a good idea. It was like Detective Chimp versus Basil from Great Mouse Detective. I saw that and I was like, man, that sounds good. I wish I thought of that. This beat was also made by Cinema Beats, and yes, I did later realize after this whole battle was finished that this beat was used in a Stupendium song, which was one of his bendy songs.
Boris Maker, I'll tell you later. You see, the scene has us careening down an elevator. Must have been dreaming to think we'd make a clean escape. I doubt the one machine here could make it past a regulator.
I legit had no idea during the making of this battle. I only realized when I released, like, the trailer and it was pointed out to me. And I didn't want to scrap the thing because the battles were pretty much done, so I was like, fuck it. The writing process took a total of 4 days, and while it wasn't too difficult, I had like little knowledge on the characters. So for Detective Pikachu, I watched a legitimate full gameplay that was over like 9 hours, but I watched it all the way through, and I've got a good amount of material from Detective Pikachu. And if I didn't watch it, I probably would have missed a lot of key factors, like the Rhyme City thing would have made for an obvious line. And Detective Pikachu has a catchphrase, which the movie doesn't reference, which was, a bolt of brilliance. So I didn't want to have my knowledge be solely on the movie when it's not the original source. Detective Chimp was really tough to write for, since he's a pretty obscure character in the DC universe, but I found a podcast channel by the guy named of Bruce Leslie, and each episode breaks down the history of different comic book characters, and one of the episodes was on Detective Chimp, and it was like 40 minutes long, so I listened all the way through, and I got enough research to learn about Detective Chimp. And I recommend checking out his channel. It's a pretty interesting podcast for wanting to know about comic book characters you may not know a lot about. Like, if it weren't for him, I would not have known that Detective Chimp got the powers of Dr. Fate. So after the writing was done, it was on to recording. I provided the voice for Detective Pikachu, and I based it off the video game version. You may ask, why didn't you do the Ryan Reynolds version? Because that's not the original source? I just thought it wasn't right to base all of Detective Pikachu solely on the movie when it's based off a game. And movie adaptations of video games, for the most part, don't follow everything about the original source. So that's why I didn't want to do the Ryan Reynolds voice. And while he doesn't do a bad job, I liked him as Detective Pikachu. I just wanted to be more towards the original as much as I can. Which is also why in editing, Detective Pikachu's footage was mostly from the game. It's like doing a battle with Mario Brothers and basing the knowledge off the movie, which is weird and it doesn't make sense. Which is something I want to say for other battle makers. If you want to do a character, make it more on the sources that the person originally came from and not on a recent thing. Now, there may be some instances where you can do a recent portrayal because of popularity, but at least acknowledge some previous source. Like, for example, when ERB did Joker vs. Pennywise, Lloyd did the Bill Skarsgård version, and there were lines in the battle that acknowledged the book, which isn't in the movies, like the gangbang scene, and Richie's turtle. Like, have your research be more than one thing. Don't just rely on a movie adaptation and think this has everything about the full story, or don't base it off like a remake of a movie and think it's following everything from the original. Like, expand your knowledge, and I know it would take a long time, but it doesn't hurt to educate yourselves, like, trust me. So anyways, Titanium1208 provided the voice for Detective Chimp, and really there was only one instance where the character had a voice, which was in Batman the Brave and the Bold, so I was just like, go with that. Then in less than a month later, I would say, I got the vocals and they were great, so the audio was fully done. And the editing, the footage for Detective Pikachu was all from the game, with like 1 or 2 quick seconds from the movie trailer. And Detective Chimp's footage was pretty tough to get, but all I had was clips from Batman the Brave and the Bold, but eventually I got it all done and the battle was finished. And now, onto Logan Paul versus Screwball.
Tristan on the track.
The character of Screwball is very recent in the Spider-Man universe compared to other characters. While she first appeared around 2008, which is hard to believe, she's been getting some popularity rather recently with her appearing in an episode of the ongoing Spider-Man cartoon on Disney XD, and appearing as well in the Spider-Man PS4 game, and I gotta tell you, in that game, she is an annoying character. I hated doing her challenges, and I'm not the only one. I think Stolf also hates it too. And we both made a conclusion on how she's pretty much like the Logan Paul of like the Spider-Man universe. And that's where I got the idea. So when I told Stolf about it, he was like, oh, good. So basically the connection is that they're both viral sensations, but their content gets to a point where it gets controversial. Like, Screwball commits crimes and she live streams them, and Logan Paul like has just done a lot of stupid shit, like disrespecting Japan, and the infamous Suicide Forest video, which was on New Year's Day of 2018. Like, not one day in the year, and we got this dumbass doing stupid shit. The beat was made by Tristan, which a lot of people use in their battles, including myself. They always make some catchy beats. And I wanted to get like a Deadpool versus Boba Fett kind of feel, where it's something you could just dance to, because I feel like that would fit with these characters, with them being all hip and having a personality that feels like cartoony. Much like Slappy vs Chucky, Logan Paul versus Screwball originally had 2 verses each, but Logan Paul just kept on doing stupid shit over time that I just had to reference, so I both gave them an extra verse. And I gotta tell ya, I did an in-depth research on Logan Paul, and that was something I did not expect to do in my life. Like, I read his Wikipedia page from top to bottom, and there's literally a section that was on his controversies alone, so like, from that page alone, I was like, God, it is too easy to make fun of this man. And the research for Screwball was a mix of everything she's been in, from the game to the comics. I wanted to find everything I could learn about this character, and while it wasn't a lot, I got like a good amount, like how she was beaten down by Spider-Man one time when he was controlled by Doc Ock. The total writing process took about 1.5 months, which was hard, but I eventually got it done. It was hard finding someone for Screwball, but I eventually gave it to Garbage Gothic, and she had like one of two choices when it came to the voice, which was like the only ones in existence, which was one from the cartoon and one from the game, and I would have been fine with either one, but in the end I believe it was based off the cartoons, and she did an awesome job. This was my first time working with her, and I loved how she did on this role, so that made me later gave her the role of Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, as well as some other roles I gave her, which are in the second half of Volume 1, so stay tuned for those. And I did the voice for Logan Paul. I didn't think I would. Like, I felt icky recording him, because I felt like I had to channel like my inner dumbass to play him, but in the end, I was okay with how it turned out. Now, getting the footage for this battle was a bit tough. Like, one, I had to download a lot of Logan Paul videos and clips, which to me, I felt like I was giving my laptop cancer by doing so. And I didn't have that much for Screwball because she rarely appeared in the game, and she only had like one episode in the cartoon, but eventually I made it work, and just like that, battle was done. Now on to Hanzo and Genji versus SubZero and Noob. Now, I thought this was an interesting idea. 2 brothers of the same clan, one eventually gets killed but brought back to life, and they have a rivalry with each other. but I thought they should unite together in order to face each other in a rap battle. I did have the idea of wanting them to turn on each other, since they have, like, you know, a sibling rivalry, but I didn't want to be, like, too much like East versus West, where ERB did it. So I just had the normal battle layout. The beat was made by Bullets 2 Beats, and it had this violin in the beat, which I thought was perfect for like this Japanese sounding style, which really fits for the characters. The writing took little less than a week, and the little minor thing that was tweaked was like the second to last line for Hanzo and Genji, where they do their ultimates. At first it was feel the strength of the Shimada and from both bow and blade, but Hyper Jacob, who played Genji, pointed out that it's better to change it to it was better to change it because for Genji's Japanese pronunciation, it's technically pronounced Ryujin no Ken wo Kurai, and not Kurei. So he changed it to feel the strength of the Shimada from both bow and his blade of mine. And I thought it was fine. I mean, I don't know Japanese that much, so hey, the more you know. Originally, I was supposed to do only SubZero, and I had a different person play Hanzo, but then shit happened, and it went silent, and Titanium, who played Noob, said he liked my Hanzo in the demo, so I just decided, fuck it, I'll do Hanzo too. I played SubZero in the past, and back then, I don't think Mortal Kombat X was out at the time, so I had to base it off the MK9 voice, and it doesn't really hold up. But this time around, I'm doing the voice he's had from Mortal Kombat X to Mortal Kombat 11, which is SubZero voiced by Steve Blum, and it was kind of hard because Steve Blum's pitch as SubZero is super low for me, so I looked up the intro dialogues he does, and I kept on practicing to get it right, and I honestly think I did a pretty decent job at it. Genji was done by HyperJacob96, and I thought he did a really spot on impression of him, and honestly I did not expect less from him because he's a goddamn professional when it comes to impressions. Titanium played Noob. He got it by auditioning through Casting Call Club, and this was before Noob was revealed for Mortal Kombat 11, so obviously he based his voice off of the MK9 voice, and to be honest, even after the reveal, I kept it because I honestly prefer the MK9 voice that Noob has over the gravelly demon voice, which because I feel that would sound weird in a battle, and you probably wouldn't understand him with that voice, especially since some of Noob's lines have really fast parts. The editing was all gameplay from Overwatch and the recent Mortal Kombat games, with a little bit of Injustice 2 for SubZero. And the art was made, and just like that, the video was done. And last but not least, Kamala Khan versus Izuku Midoriya. In mid-2019, I believe, I started to watch My Hero Academia because I thought of giving it a watch. Like, I like superhero stuff, so I thought it was a good watch for me. And overall, I liked it for what it was. And, just so you know, I am on the hate Bakugo team. And the character of Midoriya was really, he was a good character, and he really made me think of Kamala Khan. Like, they both look up to all these superheroes in their universe, and they eventually become one themselves. Deku was granted the power that All Might had, and Kamala took over the Miss Marvel name. And I really appreciate the character of Kamala Khan because she really represents a lot of young people that inspire to be a heroic icon, no matter how young. I read up about her recently, and I grew to really like the character. She has a great personality. She's like a recent hero, but she's really making her way up in the Marvel universe, such as being in video games like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and the Avengers game that's soon to come on PS4, as well as her getting her own Disney Plus series, which I'm honestly excited for. I know some think of Deku versus Miles Morales as another good point, and I admit it's also good. And I would definitely love to use Miles Morales later on at some point. I just thought Kamala should be shown some appreciation in the battle since I believe no one has used her yet, as far as I know. The beat was produced by Adamek, and if any of you who have been in the rap battle community for as long as I have and think this sounds familiar, it should. because it took me a very long time to realize that this was the same beat that was used for Venom vs. Carnage by comic book rap battles.
Destroyer, try not to shoot yourself. I'll beat your ass so hard that even the Avengers couldn't help. I can't tell if you're trying to be funny or you just want to pity. You think you're scared of coming straight at you? Be fucking ready!
And apparently it was also the same beat for Top Cat vs. Underdog by Epic Rap Battles and Cartoons. But to be fair, it's been a long time since I've seen a battle. I honestly forgot it existed. Now the writing took about 4 days. I got a good amount of research for Deku from the anime, and I got a good amount of research for Kamala thanks to a video provided by a comic historian which broke down the origins and story of Miss Marvel, as well as the Marvel Wiki, which goes through a lot of story arcs. I had a casting call from Midoriya, and I got a couple of good auditions. I had a guy before, but he went silent on me, so I had to go with my second choice, which was Endangered Scrub VA. And I thought he did great. I thought he brought good emotion to Deku, and I thought the performance was pretty good overall. Now, casting for Kamala was, believe it or not, the hardest part of the battle, and it was pretty much the main reason why this first wave took so long to release. Like, this battle was still in production while the battles were, releasing. And I know, it's a simple one-on-one, it shouldn't be that hard, but yeah, this took a really long time. I've gone through so many VAs, some declined due to book schedules, others were casted, but couldn't because of things that came up, but in the end, I just got Garbage Gothic again. Casting shouldn't be this hard, it's too stressful for me. So yeah, Garbage Gothic ended up being the casting for Kamala, and like always, she kills it. Now a little tidbit, the mid-finale for Volume 1 at first was supposed to be another battle, which has now been moved as finale of Volume 1, because what the original Volume 1 finale was supposed to be the sequel to Elliot vs. Clementine. And the reason why it was changed is because The Last of Us 2 was taking a long time to be released, so I moved the original mid-finale to the finale spot, and I had an open slot, so I decided to make Deku vs. Miss Marvel take that spot. Editing process, Deku's clips consisted of nothing but My Hero Academia footage. I mean, there's nothing really else. As for Miss Marvel, it was kind of tricky, but I was able to edit it all. I took a bit from the Disney XD cartoons that she was in, as well as a couple things from Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 and the upcoming Avengers game for PS4 from the trailers. And just like that, the first half of Volume 1 was finished. I am really happy with how these turned out, and I say this progress strategy of working all of them at once and releasing them on a schedule once they were all done turned out as a great success, so I plan to do the same tactic for future waves as well. And now for a bit of Q&A. I know the video's gone long enough already, we're at 35 minutes already, but don't worry, I didn't get that much questions, so this won't take long. Xeno Predalien asks, can you make an Alien vs Predator rap battle? Now, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that this hasn't been done within the rap battle community. I know one series that planned to do it, but it was scrapped because, believe me, the video itself was going to be looking really stupid, but I think I would be down taking a crack at a matchup. I like both franchises, so we'll see. Hyperheims asks, how do you find some of your VAs in your battles? When it comes to voices, I see first if anyone in the community can do them, and if there's not really anyone in my circle of contacts that fits the certain role, I do one of two things. One, I open a casting call club, which is not bad, but I usually don't get that many auditions. And some don't even get any auditions at all, which just makes things harder. So if that doesn't work for some characters, I go to YouTube and I would search up people that either do voice impressions of characters that I'm trying to find, or I would just watch voice acting demo reels to see if they fit a character I plan on using. And if I find someone, I contact them by email. Sometimes I don't get responses, or they have to turn down the role, but for fair reasons, such as, school, they have a lot of voice acting roles they're currently working on already. Personal things, they don't feel comfortable because they don't have any rapping experience, which is fine. So, so far the declining reasons were fair. Am I usually disappointed? Sometimes, but it's no big deal. I could always find another person. There are times where people ask to look at your content, which I won't, again, it makes me nervous. While I'm confident with my recent work, I'm afraid of how the VA will think when he or she watches the content I send. So I do my best to send the person the non-cringy ones. But luckily, so far, they liked what I did. which makes me happy. Like, I've yet to get one who is, who pulls like a shofu and says, man, I don't want to be in this bitch-ass series. Only a few people will get that. And there's also some moments where VA takes payment, which is fine. They, since they want to do voice acting for a living, they have to make off of it somehow. And I usually, take, them, the offer of, like, payment as long as I can, like, afford it. And I feel like it seems like a fair price. Like, Lost Compositions, for example, who I had as Nathan Drake in Smash vs. All-Stars, and Cooler in Frieza vs. Cooler. He had pretty fair prices. And there's like, but some were like really expensive. Like, there were like a couple times where VAs wanted me to pay like over $100, which was like, Jesus. And I want to tell this one VA I have, which I don't want to spoil really, because I want it to be a surprise. I paid this person like $60, which is believe it or not, is more fair than you think, because the battle I have him in is, it has like, his character has like 3 verses, but honestly it was really worth the pay, because his recording was really fucking awesome, and he really puts his all into the role I have him in, and I can't say what it is, but I really want to say it, but it's a battle for like the next wave for Volume 1, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it, so stay tuned for when that comes. Maxstar6 asks, which battles from your newest wave were the easiest / hardest to write for, and are there any old battles of yours you consider remastering with your new series of battles? Out of this wave, I'd say the easiest one is probably a tie between Freddy Krueger and Scarecrow, and Slappy vs Chucky. The hardest one, I would probably have to say Logan Paul versus Screwball, mainly because Screwball doesn't have that much material since she's on the new side, and Logan Paul I obviously had to do a lot of research for because he's quite the stupid human being. As for remastering old battles, there are definitely a couple that I do plan on doing, and I can confirm they are coming. Like for example, I do plan to do a remaster of Crash Bandicoot vs. Spyro, because since their games were remastered, I thought it would make sense to do my own remaster. And while this isn't technically a remaster, I have mentioned the sequel to Ellie vs. Clementine, which I am doing, and just so you know, I have read the leaks on The Last of Us 2, which I'm not gonna say anything, but they were interesting to say the least, but I will try my best not to be biased, despite how disappointing these leaks may seem to be. Mega Bonsai 16 asks, have you ever played Danganronpa? If yes, have you considered using it in a battle? I have never played Danganronpa, although I do know of its existence, but I don't really see myself using any characters from it because, quite honestly, it doesn't really interest me. Plus, I think there's already enough Danganronpa battles as it is in this community, so I feel like I would just be hopping on some sort of bandwagon. Meta Machine asks, as you distance yourself from most people in the rap battle community, what would you say are the pros and cons of doing things by yourself / looking for people relatively new at rapping and these sorts of projects? And if you plan on doing this same work ethic for your next wave, or plan on changing things depending on how smooth / rough this wave was to make. I say there's a lot of pros when it comes to this, honestly, because for starters, working more independently has made me more satisfied in my own product than previous battles. It also has allowed me to grow in skill as a content creator. And while I don't mind getting help when I need it, I do prefer to work on my own as much as I can. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like it helps more because, in my opinion, you learn better that way, because learning stuff yourself is more helpful to learn than learning from others. I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does. As for getting people to which this is like a new experience for them, I say again, there's a lot of pros because they're trying something new. I'm expanding on who I'm working with outside of my community. Like, I'm opening my circle, and hopefully it gives them like some recognition as not only like talented voice actors, but as talented people overall. And I can't really think of any cons, like unless you want to have like hate comments count as something. But other than that, it's been pretty satisfying. And as for changing ethics for future battles, like I said, I plan on doing what I did for the first wave. Because it's honestly working out for me pretty well so far. The second wave is more than halfway done already, so that's awesome. And that is all the questions. Thanks for watching. Volume 1.5 is currently in production, and As of right now, 2 are already fully done, so hopefully these will be done by the end of the year. You can check the About section on my channel to see the progress. And I hope to get these out by the end of the year, like I said, because that would be great. Like, the last time I got a full season of a rap battle series done was like season 2 of Gaming All-Star Rap Battles, so I really hope this gets out before 2021. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. I plan to do more of these for every wave, so stay tuned for the next one when the second half is fully done. So thanks for watching, more stuff is on the way, I'm Bilo, and I'll see you all next time.
Pissing our pants, yeah, that's the least of your worries, because I'm just getting started. Lucille is thirsty.